Hey guys, gizmoddict here, and this is a camera comparison between the Asus 6Z and the OnePlus 7. So this is going to be a very detailed camera comparison because I'm going to compare everything: stock camera, Google camera, video recording, and we'll see that which of these two phones has the best camera under 32,000 rupees. I'm also going to make another comparison video between these two phones, comparing everything else like the display, the performance, PUBG performance, battery life, etc, etc. So if you guys don't want to miss out on all of those videos, please hit the red subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Now let's get started with this comparison. So if we talk about the camera sensor on both of these phones, the OnePlus 7 gets the Sony IMX586 as the primary sensor, and apart from that you have a 5 megapixel of depth sensor. And if we talk about the front facing camera, once again you've got a 16 megapixel sensor. On the other hand, the Asus 6Z has got this really cool rotating camera setup. So you've got your Sony IMX586 as the primary lens, and the secondary lens is actually a more usable one than the OnePlus 7 because this is a 13 megapixel wide angle lens. And because the camera is a rotating setup, your back camera itself becomes your front facing camera. So all of the features that you have for the back camera you will have for the front facing camera. And if you are wondering what do I have on my Asus 6Z, well, that's the green camo skin from capesindia.com. So Capes India is like Dbrand. They actually make smartphone skins for majority of the phones available in India. But then unlike Dbrand, they are easily available all over India and they are available at a cheaper price. Plus, if you use the promo code gizmoddict, you can get 10% discount as well. They have skins available for all of the devices, be it OnePlus, Xiaomi, Realme, Asus, and they've also got a lot of patterns and layouts for these skins as well. So do check out capesindia.com and don't forget to use the promo code. So I've divided this comparison into two parts. So first we're going to compare the stock camera performance on both of these phones. Then we're going to compare Google camera on the OnePlus 7 and stock camera on the Asus 6Z. Now I know you guys would be asking why not try the Google camera on the Asus 6Z as well. Well, the thing is that even though the developers are working on this phone and we've got compatible GCam APKs, it's still not as good as the stock camera. I will show you some samples at the end of Google camera and you will be able to figure out that it's just not as good or as optimized as the stock camera app. So I'm sticking to the stock cam on the Asus 6Z, and on the OnePlus 7 we'll check out stock cam and then Google cam. So now let's get started with comparing the stock cameras on both of these phones. So first I would like to talk about the selfies, and here I think the Asus 6Z definitely has an edge over the OnePlus 7. So the Asus 6Z has slightly pinkish tone in selfies sometimes, but then it has a stronger blur effect and it also has a better dynamic range than the OnePlus 7. The OnePlus 7 does blow out the highlights in some areas, plus the colors are also not as good as the Asus 6Z. Plus you can also adjust the blur effect on the Asus 6Z later on, and overall it just has better colors and a more favorable output as compared to the OnePlus 7. I mean, this was quite expected because you've got the Sony IMX586 as your selfie camera, so this was bound to happen. Plus you can always use that wide angle lens as well in terms of selfies, so that can come in handy when you're taking a group photo. So I think in terms of selfies, the Asus 6Z definitely has the upper hand over the OnePlus 7. But then let's move on to the rear facing camera now. And here once again I was quite surprised because the OnePlus 7 photos seemed worse than the Asus 6Z. The photos from the OnePlus 7 were underexposed, the shadows were bad, and overall I felt that the Asus 6Z had a much better output as compared to the OnePlus 7. There were a couple of areas where the Asus 6Z did overexpose photos, but then overall if you see, it has much better output than the OnePlus 7. I don't know what's wrong with the OnePlus's camera firmware because this has never happened before. But then the shadows are really bad. So maybe with an update this will be fixed, but as of now I would prefer the output from Asus. Also, one tip I would like to give you is that just go to settings and turn the AI mode off, because sometimes it just unnecessarily enhances the colors when it doesn't need to. So if you look at this photo, the flower seems pinkish, but then it's actually orange as you can see on the OnePlus 7. But then overall if you talk about the photos in daylighting conditions, I think I would pick the Asus 6Z. Then we move on to the indoor conditions, and here Asus 6Z has more details into the photos, plus it has lesser noise as well. If you zoom into the photos, you can see that OnePlus 7 images have more noise and the detailing is a bit less too, so I didn't like that. But then OnePlus does has accurate colors in some photos as compared to the Asus 6Z. So in terms of indoor conditions, both of them are actually quite good. The Asus has got more details and less noise, and the OnePlus tends to have more accurate colors. So in indoor conditions, I think it's sort of a tie. There is not a big difference between the output from both of these phones. Next up we move on to the low lighting conditions, and here I used the night mode on the Asus app and I used nightscape on the OnePlus app. And here, as you can see, I think Nightscape did a lot better than the night mode on the Asus 6Z. It overall produces more pleasant images, there is less noise, and I think OnePlus has done a fantastic job with Nightscape. So in extreme low lighting conditions, I think my pick would be the OnePlus 7 II. Lastly, if you were to talk about the rear camera portraits here, both of these phones were okay. But I think I liked OnePlus 7 as compared to the Asus 6Z. For some reason, Asus 6Z used to underexpose portrait shots a lot sometimes. So that's one thing that I didn't like. And Asus can probably work on that. On the other hand, I think OnePlus did perform better in terms of portrait modes and rear camera portraits as well. I think my pick would be the OnePlus 7. So overall, if we talk about the stock camera performance, it's kind of a mixed bag, but then Asus has a slight lead. It's better in terms of selfies, it's much better in terms of daylight shots, indoor is the same, but then where the OnePlus 7 has an advantage is with extreme low lighting shots and with respect to the rear camera portrait mode. But then now let's switch on to Google camera on the OnePlus 7 and see how much better things can get. So as soon as we move on to Google camera on the OnePlus 7, you see a substantial improvement in terms of images in daylight. The shadows are a lot better. You can zoom in and see there is a lot more detailing into the shadows as compared to the stock app. And if we compare it to the Asus 6Z, it actually is better than the 6Z in some photos. So great improvement in daylight shots with Google camera on the OnePlus 7. Then when we jump into the indoor conditions, here also you see a lot of difference. So if you zoom into the photos, the Asus still has more details, but then the thing is OnePlus 7 does an amazing job with respect to noise reduction. So Google camera app is very good in terms of cleaning noise, and in a lot of struggling scenarios you can see that Google camera has much less noise on the OnePlus 7 as compared to the stock app on the Asus 6Z. It is clearly a huge difference, and I really liked how overall the output was from Google camera in indoor conditions. Similarly, even the night mode samples get better. As soon as we move on to night sight on Google camera on the OnePlus 7, the overall image quality improves a lot and the output is a lot better than what we get from the Asus 6Z. Especially when you take photos in indoor conditions, night sight does help a lot, and I'm really happy with how Google camera is performing on the OnePlus 7. You also see an improvement in terms of selfies, but then I would still pick the Asus 6Z as compared to the OnePlus 7. For some reason, I found the skin tones to be very harsh on the OnePlus 7 with Google camera. It's not as nice and smooth as what you get on the Asus 6Z. So with respect to selfies, I would still stick to Asus, but then in all the other scenarios, I think OnePlus 7 did pull up a slight lead. Then let's talk about video, and both of these phones get 4K at 60 FPS and you've also got stabilization. So I'm showing you guys the 4K sample that I shot on both of these phones, and for some reason I don't know what's wrong with the OnePlus software because it was hunting for focus a lot, as you can see. The Asus on the other hand was very easy when it came to focusing, and I kept changing the camera position and it was focusing easily on the objects. So OnePlus clearly needs to work a lot on the camera software on the OnePlus 7. They actually did fix everything on the OnePlus 7 Pro. So this one definitely needs work. As you can clearly see in terms of video, Asus is better than OnePlus 7. So basically that is your comparison between the cameras of the Asus 6Z and the OnePlus 7. I'm showing you some Google camera samples from the Asus 6Z right now, and as you can see it's not that optimized and the stock camera performs much better. The night sight doesn't work that great. In daylight the shadows are really bad, they're very dark, and even in terms of indoor conditions there is not much to gain from Google camera from the Asus 6Z as of now. That is why I did not compare it with OnePlus 7 because the stock camera on the 6Z is anyways better. As soon as we get a better GCam APK on the Asus 6Z, I will definitely make a video about it. But as of now, if you're gonna go with the Asus 6Z, stick to the stock app. So then what's the conclusion of this camera comparison? Well, if you want to take a lot of selfies, I think Asus 6Z is the best option for you because you've got the IMX586 sensor, the output is really good, plus you can always take selfies in wide angle as well. And then if you talk about the rear facing camera, if we compare the stock cameras, I think the Asus does a better job overall. But then as soon as we switch to Google camera on the OnePlus 7, it definitely takes a lead in terms of the rear facing camera performance as compared to the Asus 6Z. But then the comparison does not end here because the Asus 6Z is a lot more versatile camera than the OnePlus 7. Like I said, you've got the wide angle camera, so you can actually shoot 4K video on the wide angle camera as well. That is something you cannot do on the OnePlus 7. Plus you've got so many more features here. You can take very cool panoramas where you don't have to move on the Asus 6Z. You just tap a button and the camera is gonna move and take the photo for you. So that's pretty cool. Plus you've got motion tracking. Plus you've got all the features of the rear facing camera on the front facing camera. So if you're into vlogging and things like that, you can shoot your vlogs at 4K 60 FPS with the Asus 6Z. And you've got motion tracking also, so even if you move during your vlog, the camera is going to follow you. So it's a lot more versatile setup than what you get on the OnePlus 7. So then considering everything, I think I'm slightly inclined towards the Asus 6Z because of the overall camera features and performance. I know that the OnePlus 7's rear facing camera is better with GCam, but then I think this will also get better with time. You be the judge, you let me know in the comments which phone would you pick between these two. As of now, this was my detailed camera comparison between the OnePlus 7 and the Asus 6Z. If you guys have any more questions, do let me know in the comments, or you can also follow my Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages. You can ask me questions there and I will reply to you. Also, I'll be making an in-depth comparison between both of these phones, covering everything. So if you guys have any specific questions with respect to that, you can also let me know. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then please hit the like button. If you're new here, then please subscribe. Press the bell icon so that you don't miss out every time I upload a new video. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna be back in a notifications very soon. Peace.